Hey everybody, welcome back to another college planning tip of the week. I'm Jack, and with me, as always, is Nancy Steenson Admissions Coach. So last time we talked about the college admissions process, in particular, extracurricular activities. But this week I want to ask you, for families of juniors or even younger in high school, what's something else that kids and families can be focusing on to help better position them as they then move into senior year to get ready to fill out these applications?
Thank you, Jack. So that's a great question because you shouldn't arrive at the fall of your senior year suddenly thinking about these things. It's nice to be planning through your 4 years of high school, knowing on your educational journey that you are going to be applying to college, if in fact that's the case. So something that a lot of students don't think about ahead of time is the letter of recommendation or the letters of recommendation. Most colleges require a letter of recommendation from the guidance counselor, as well as one academic teacher. Some colleges require 2 teachers, and some colleges require 0 teachers. But let's talk about most colleges. Guidance counselor and teacher. It's a really good idea to spend your 4 years of high school getting to know your guidance counselor. You know, regardless of whether you're the top of the class or the kid always in trouble, it doesn't matter. Get to know your guidance counselor. Let them know all about you as a human being, as a student, because they'll be in a much better position to write that letter when the time comes. Because remember, when the time comes, they're going to be writing a letter for every single senior on their caseload. And so you want to be one that they really remember and really have something to say about. The other thing is that you're going to be asking a teacher for a letter of recommendation. And again, you don't want to be in the position of asking a teacher who didn't really remember you that well. So right now, we happen to be in a pandemic and a lot of students are learning online, which makes it harder, but it's really important to get to know your teachers, especially the teachers whose classes you enjoy, especially the teachers teaching subjects you think you might be pursuing in college. Because ultimately you're going to need a letter of recommendation, and sort of the fine print that you don't really see out front and center is that colleges love a recommendation from a junior year teacher if you can get one. And so it's important to get to know these teachers so that when you ask for a letter, they can really write something authentic.
So Nancy, that makes sense. But let me just clarify one point. Because oftentimes what I hear that students tend to ask teachers whose classes they did well in, right? But you're really saying something different, right? You're really talking about regardless of whatever the grade was, hopefully a good grade, obviously, but regardless of the grade, it's really someone who knows you well, or perhaps you may have had for multiple years, right?
Absolutely correct. So what you want to do is ask a teacher who knows you well, regardless of the grade that you got in the class. And I often say that you want to think about personal characteristics that you might have exhibited in that class. It doesn't have to be academic brilliance. It can be empathy. It can be perseverance. It can be you were willing to be lab partners with the kid that no one else wanted to be lab partners with. It could be that you're just struggle, but you came for extra help 2 or 3 times a week. So when I work with students, I make sure they think and reflect on their time in that classroom with that teacher and think about what personal characteristics they exhibited and what anecdotes do they remember that would illustrate those characteristics. And guess what? The teacher might not remember any of that. So when you ask for that recommendation, whether it be face-to-face or in an email, be prepared to follow up when they agree to write the letter. Be prepared to follow up with an email thanking them and saying, and you know, Mr. Wang, here are some recollections I have from our time together in the classroom. Remember that time that blah, blah, blah. Or I came, you know, several times for extra help. Or you might not be aware of this, but I was helping, you know, a number of my fellow classmates outside the classroom after school who were coming to me for help, whatever the case may be. But it's really important to self-reflect and think about how you stood out in that classroom to that teacher. Because anyone can write a boilerplate recommendation about any student that could go to any college, and they're all interchangeable, and they're relatively meaningless. The good letter is rare, but it can really make a difference in college admissions.
Sure, that makes sense. After all, what I really hear you saying is help the teacher help you, right? Because teachers see so many kids. You're right, and they may not remember every little thing, but those little things matter. Awesome, great tips today. Thank you so much, Nancy Steenson of Steenson Admissions Coach. Excellent tips. So stay tuned next time when we share another college planning tip of the week. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jack.